In this community of Constantia, the mosque is now about 138 years old. The graveyard is a little bit more than the mosque. That was purchased, I think, by 5 or 6 families. One was a David, my grandfather.
Say smaller.
Solomon, Sadim, and I can't remember the rest of but it was 6 of them. That was quite a long time ago. So they purchased the graveyard for the Muslim community that lived in that period, for that period of time. This area, many of them used to work on the farms. For many of the farmers, as we can see, we refer to our ground here, as you all know that. They used to live here, and they used to sell the fruit, sell the carrots, everything from Constantia, take it to the market, and they used to sell it out from this area of Constantia itself. If you turn to the right, it's a kramat. That one is called Maturi Shah. Maturi Ton Mahmoud, I'm not so sure what the name is. Those were people before us that stayed in the area in the time of slavery. They brought Islam to Constantia. Let us all look at one another and see the light in each and every in all of us. Try to see the light of God, and God will bless us in our lives. So I hope you enjoy our day, and I hope I have touched your hearts a little bit, and I hope I've given you a little bit more of our history. The mosque purpose is, whenever you have a problem, come to us, and we're there to solve it, and we're there to help you, and as long as we can take you to God. That is our mission in this world. Thanks so much for granting me this opportunity to
Friends, we're going to make our way down Strawberry Lane now. I'd ask that we try and stick together as much as we possibly can. Moos and a few other helpers are going to load the chairs up on the trailer, which is just around the corner. He'll hook it up on his car, and he'll take the chairs down to meet us on the other side. So try and walk with a few people. Let's try and keep as much of the road open.
Our school was like, they called it the Black and PG school. But the children there were very well behaved. And also, I remember when it was fruit season, there was no place on the table for more. And I had to ask some of the children in the standard 5 to take me home with all the fruit I got, especially during the grape season. And tears used to come to my eyes when I think of them. They were poor, but they were well-mannered, and they were clean every day. I insisted on cleanliness. And I've spent 7 years with them.
My dad was, I wouldn't say he was a taskmaster, but, you know, he kept things the way it should be. And at that time, the school only went up to standard 4. Auntie Rosalind Adams, she was a sub-A teacher. Miss Holden was the sub-B, Miss Kroc was the standard 1, and Mr. Steenkamp was the standard 2, and my dad did the 3 and 4. The year when I left, the following year, they built on another section into the building here on the side, and then they started the standard 5. The things that highlight of my stay here were every year we used to have a bazaar. And the bazaar, I can tell you, the lunches that were served here, the cooks were Diana and Talini, and those people, make no mistake, when you wanted roast, and you wanted roast potatoes, this was the place to come to, and flour roast, yeah. Make no mistake about that. Yeah. And another thing also, my dad, he was, although in his own quiet way, he was very politically minded, for obvious reasons. The one big sin that you created, you called Mr. Albertine Baskapi. And if he heard you, you were in trouble. So one day, I think I was in Standard 1, and we were running around the place, and something had happened, and he running past him, and I said something about Baskapi. He shouted, he said, "Brian, come here!" And then I realized, oh, yeah, I'm in trouble. I came, he said, come right up to me. He gave me a smack, which I will never ever forget. My eyes just stood up, and he said, "There's no boss here. The only boss in this place is God. And don't you forget that." And of course, obviously I didn't forget it, you know. So the next time when we went home, and I told my mother about it, my mother said, "Oh, did you go?" So my mother gave me another idea. So my remembrance of Swazimatri, my daddy always used to say, "Well, you can chuck the apple of Swazimatri, but Swazimatri will never get out of me." Thank you.
Thank you. We walk now to the plaque, which is about 100 yards down the road.
How are we doing, guys? Is that all of us? Is it okay for us?
Standing belonged to my family. It was expropriated in '58 when, because we had a freshwater spring in our backyard, which is our house right next door here, it gave access to the residents of Strawberry Lane to access the fresh water. So '58, this land was taken from us, and in '65, my grandmother sold our house next door. Without further ado, I'm going to ask Ernest. Oh, there are.
People of Constantia sang, according to my grandparents' stories. They sang at the harvest parties, the Christmas parties. There was always a guitar, some had violins and a drum. My uncle used to call it the Dum Dum Dutchies, when the brigade came along with the drums. And music is what brought the people together, and they sang their songs and the mokis. This is a song because this place, the people were so rooted in the earth, with living with the animals, tending to their flowers, to their plants, to the fruit trees. I want to invite you to sing something with me. Mother, I feel your heartbeat. Mother, I feel your heartbeat.
Hello. Thank you for letting me follow Ernestine. This is, I do nothing like Ernestine. I just tell jokes. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Stuart Taylor, and I'm a comedian. And I live a kilometer away, just up the way over here. And but my roots are not in Constantia. My Constantia roots are very shallow. We only moved here about 5 or 6 years ago. My family is from, my dad's family is from Claremont, Harfield Village area. My mom is from Kimberley, but it was, the stories were similar. The stories were exactly the same regardless of where you were. If District 6 is the best known, but then Constantia's got the same stories, and Harfield Village has got the same stories. Yeah, there we go. So it's an atrocity of the past, and on Heritage Day we're here and we think about it. But before we get into that, I want to explain maybe possibly why Father Terry asked me to come and talk to you guys as a resident, because, and I love what Ernestine sang about stereotypes. She said stereotypes run deep, and I make a living off of stereotypes. I pay my bond off of making fun of stereotypes. And a stereotype is a vague generalization about something. And I must be honest, if I make fun of Constantia, I make fun of the perceived residents of Constantia. I've got great gags about, if I'm playing in Joburg or outside of SA, I say I live in this very affluent suburb called Constantia. If you don't know Constantia, it's this kind of, let me explain it to you, the kind of area where the people who live there would step over a homeless person in order to help a lost dog. You know that kind of... We know the area well. So I've got nothing for you. Let me see what I've got for you. And it's a true story. My friend Paul Adams, who also lives up the way over here, Paul lost his dog. The dog ran away, and Paul came to me at about 2 o'clock in the morning. He'd been driving around for hours trying to find the dog. Kids were crying, and wife was scolding him. And I said to him, don't worry, Paul, this is the best area to lose a dog. If you lost a homeless person, you'd be in trouble. But the dog was fine. Go to any vet on Monday, you'll find the dog. And he did. The first vet he went, there was a note. Hi, my name is Christine. I've got your dog. Don't worry, your dog is safe. He knocked on Christine's door, walked in Christine's house. He saw his dog lying on Christine's couch. This dog lives outside at Paul's house. At Christine's house, the dog's on the couch. He says the look on the dog's face, the dog was like, I'm fine. You can go on. But we make fun of the stereotypes, and there's a very, very specific idea of what Constantia is, and that it's lily white, and there's a specific class of people that live there. But it's not true. It's not the truth. Constantia is a lot more. The story in Constantia is a lot more complex than what we make it seem like when we tell the jokes. And if you look at these faces over here, you realize that the story is a lot more complex. So that's kind of maybe what I want to think about today on Heritage Day, because there are two sides to the story. It's a beautiful thing when I walk past and we talk about, wow, this is the house that Terry used to grow up in, and it's not quite the same. It was beautiful at some point. Lovely now. It's postmodern. But those stories become painful, and some people talk about them, and some people don't. Like if I think about my dad never ever tells me his stories about where he comes from. Occasionally you'll catch snippets about these amazing stories.
And so I see them all around you. I see them flanking you, all the ancestors. I see them all the way to the mountain. A sea of our ancestors, all of us. I see their different colors, and I see their beaming, smiling faces, your grandmothers, your parents, those that have been buried. And no matter where they're buried, their spirits remain here, and they're happy that we have gathered in honor and in remembrance of this beautiful place called Constantia. Thank you, Elton, for being with me today. Ooh. Me, I'm a brown girl with candy floss hair. My people have brown faces too. My people are caramel and blue. My opa tells me stories that make me laugh and cry. The people who lied to our face, the people who took our place in this world, so-called world. We live in inverted commas, just the gotchi taking face. We live in inverted commas, and my so-called history is colored in blood, a product of him and you and me.
a matter of rape philosophy. And from coons to gangsters, the stereotypes run deep. But I hear the light is in my street. They're singing Bob Marley melodies, karma free harmony. And they don't get inverted commas. No, the new generation is free. And they don't see inverted commas. And now I see there's no better place to be. There's no other shade to claim but my own name. And I know I've got to turn inverted commas right around. Say out loud, no more hatred allowed. But then now I see there's no better place to be. There's no other shade to claim but our own names. And I know I have got to turn this history right around. Sing out loud, we are brown, and we're proud. Brown people, caramel, brown faces, caramel, brown people, caramel, brown faces. Aren't we all brown people? Caramel or vanilla people? Caramel, brown people. Caramel, browned by the sun, burnt by the poison, browned by the sun, birthed by the sand, browned by the sun, birthed by the